In a quiet countryside village where nearly every resident survives by writing scandalous romance novels, one man stands above the rest, Nicholas, a shameless author whose outrageous stories have made him infamous among his fellow writers. As his home fills with loud guests celebrating another successful gathering, his devoted wife Beth stays trapped in the kitchen, cooking and cleaning while everyone else enjoys themselves. But beneath Nicholas's cheerful smile lies a dangerous secret. A sudden phone call from his passionate lover Nadia changes everything. She has already arrived in the village and impatiently demands that he come to meet her immediately. The temptation is irresistible, and Nicholas eagerly prepares to sneak away. Unfortunately, Beth overhears just enough to become suspicious. Cornered on the spot, Nicholas invents the most ridiculous excuse imaginable, claiming he must visit his elderly grandmother because she has somehow just given birth. Instead of believing him, Beth stares at him with growing doubt, sensing that her husband is hiding something far more scandalous than he is willing to admit. Beth refuses to let the matter go and boldly insists on accompanying Nicholas wherever he is headed, making it nearly impossible for him to escape. Desperate to protect his affair, Nicholas nervously reminds her that someone has to feed the visiting writers, but Beth remains unconvinced. As the argument continues, the village's handsome servant Andy effortlessly captures attention wherever he goes, admired by nearly every woman in town. Around the same time, a beautiful young journalist named Tamara arrives in the village to sell the old house left behind by her late father. While the writers admire one another's latest novels, Nicholas finally realizes he can no longer hide the truth from his wife. He confesses that he has secretly been involved with Nadia for quite some time. Beth is devastated and gives him one final warning. If he walks out that door to meet another woman, he should never return home again. Nicholas suddenly finds himself trapped between loyalty and desire, forced to choose which life he values more. Despite knowing the devastating consequences, Nicholas allows temptation to overpower his conscience and rushes to meet Nadia. Yet instead of spending a romantic evening together, he admits that Beth has already discovered their affair and begs Nadia to leave the village before everything falls apart. He promises to divorce his wife soon and reunite with her later, convincing Nadia to quietly return to the city. The following morning, gossip spreads through the village as one of the shameless writers openly flirts with Beth, suggesting that if Nicholas abandons her, he would gladly become her new companion. Hidden away in the bathroom, the man fantasizes about Beth until Nicholas unexpectedly returns home. Filled with regret, Nicholas sincerely apologizes to his wife, swearing that he has finally realized she is the only woman he truly wants. Against all odds, Beth forgives him, and their marriage appears to recover, leaving the jealous admirer completely heartbroken as his fantasies collapse before his eyes. Peace doesn't last long before the village is shaken by the loud sound of an alarm coming from Tamara's neglected family home. Andy and one of the writers rush over to investigate, only to discover Tamara struggling to disable the old security system. As Andy speaks with her, forgotten childhood memories suddenly return. They were once close friends many years ago. Grateful for his help, Tamara invites them inside, where Andy repairs the alarm with ease. She then reveals that she hopes to sell the property, but neither of the visitors can afford such a purchase. While leaving, Andy can't stop staring at Tamara. The awkward girl he remembered from years ago has transformed into an incredibly confident and beautiful woman. Curious about her, the others question Andy, who admits they once shared a youthful romance before life pulled them apart. At the same time, two mischievous teenage girls named Jody and Casey are introduced, hinting that their curiosity and reckless behavior will soon create even greater chaos throughout the village. As excitement fills the village, Tamara confidently walks among the local writers, instantly capturing every man's attention with her stunning appearance. Nicholas is especially mesmerized, barely able to hide his attraction as Beth warmly offers condolences for the recent death of Tamara's mother. Soon Tamara asks if anyone can help renovate and prepare her old house for sale, and almost every writer eagerly volunteers, each secretly hoping to spend time alone with her. Even one of the village's female writers shows an unusual amount of enthusiasm. Meanwhile, Chumat Lal privately urges Andy to marry Tamara before another man steals her away, but Andy sadly refuses. He explains that years ago he broke her heart, making it unlikely she would ever forgive him. Nicholas, however, becomes obsessed with the idea of winning Tamara's affection. Flashbacks reveal that long ago Tamara openly admired Nicholas, but he cruelly rejected her because she was considered unattractive. Now fate has completely reversed their positions, leaving Nicholas desperate for a second chance he never deserved. Driven by hope, Andy begins helping Tamara renovate her house, believing that working beside her might heal the wounds of their past. Tamara, however, keeps an emotional distance, sensing that Andy's kindness may be motivated by lingering feelings rather than simple friendship. Elsewhere, a famous rock band arrives in town for a live performance, and Tamara takes the opportunity to interview their charismatic drummer, Ben. During the backstage interview, an unexpected scene erupts when Ben's fiancée suddenly kisses another man, humiliating him in front of everyone. The shocking betrayal leaves Ben furious and emotionally shattered. In the confusion, he literally falls into Tamara's arms, creating an instant connection between them. Hoping to continue the interview in peace, Tamara invites Ben back to her house. Unknown to them, the curious teenagers Jody and Casey secretly follow behind, eager to spy on every moment, unaware that this innocent curiosity is about to trigger a chain of emotional disasters for everyone involved. Intimate than either expected. Passion overwhelms them, and before long the interview is forgotten as romance takes over. At that exact moment, Andy arrives carrying fresh mushrooms, hoping to surprise Tamara with another thoughtful gesture. Instead, he notices discarded clothes scattered across the staircase, while unmistakable sounds echo from upstairs. The heartbreaking realization hits him instantly. Tamara is sharing a romantic moment with another man. Crushed beyond words, Andy silently drops everything and walks away, believing he has lost her forever. Heartbreak soon transforms into reckless behavior. Unable to cope with his emotions, Andy begins seeking comfort elsewhere, eventually giving in to the attention of a barmaid who had admired him for years. While Andy struggles with jealousy, Ben and Tamara continue growing closer each day, unaware that their happiness is unintentionally destroying someone else's heart. As Ben and Tamara's romance blossoms, Andy sinks deeper into emotional frustration, masking his heartbreak behind meaningless relationships. Ben eventually proposes marriage, presenting Tamara with a beautiful engagement ring. Although touched by the proposal, Tamara hesitates when she discovers the ring had originally been intended for another woman. Refusing to wear a symbol connected to someone else's failed relationship, she firmly rejects it despite accepting Ben's love. Meanwhile, Jody and Casey secretly sneak into Tamara's house while the couple is away, curiously exploring every corner and even examining Ben's belongings. Later that evening, Ben and Tamara return after celebrating together, but their happiness quickly turns into another argument. Ben dreams of leaving for London to pursue his music career, while Tamara refuses to abandon the village and the home she has only recently reclaimed. Their disagreement grows so intense that Tamara refuses to spend the night with him, sending Ben away angry and emotionally confused. Humiliated after the argument, Ben lashes out at Andy, reminding him that he is nothing more than a servant before storming away. Chumat Lal later comforts Andy, joking bitterly that women always seem attracted to rebellious men while ignoring honest ones like them. The next day, Ben's constant rehearsals make it impossible for Tamara to focus on her work, while Andy continues decorating her house, convinced she will eventually realize his loyalty. Hidden in the shadows, Jody and Casey once again sneak inside. Obsessed with Ben, Jody begins imagining a romantic future with him before using Tamara's computer to send fake romantic emails to Nicholas, Andy, and Ben. The deceptive messages create immediate misunderstandings. Ben believes Tamara has betrayed him and angrily leaves for London, ending their relationship. Jody instantly regrets her actions because the man she secretly admired has now disappeared from her life, proving that childish games can have heartbreaking consequences. The fake email reaches Nicholas as well, instantly reigniting his selfish fantasies about Tamara. Without hesitation, He approaches her and arrogantly assumes she has invited him for a secret affair. Tamara is disgusted by his confidence and furiously denies sending any message, making it clear she would never choose him under any circumstances. Determined to speak with Andy instead, she arrives only to witness him embracing the barmaid he has recently grown close to. The painful sight shatters her heart, convincing her that Andy has moved on completely. Feeling lonely and emotionally vulnerable, Tamara unexpectedly turns to Nicholas for comfort. What begins as emotional support quickly develops into a secret romantic affair. They begin meeting in private again and again, hiding their relationship from the rest of the village. Meanwhile, Andy remains completely unaware that the woman he still loves has unknowingly fallen into the arms of the one man least worthy of her trust. Tamara's loneliness pulls her straight into Nicholas's arms, and what begins as an emotional escape soon turns into a dangerous secret affair. Hidden away inside her house, the two passionately continue their relationship, believing no one will ever uncover the truth. One day, Andy arrives hoping to see Tamara, but she hurriedly tells him she's too busy to meet anyone. As he turns to leave, he notices Nicholas's scarf lying inside the house, instantly realizing exactly what has been happening behind closed doors. Heartbroken once again, Andy silently walks away without saying a word. Moments later, Nicholas leaves after sharing another romantic goodbye with Tamara, completely unaware that Jody and Casey have secretly recorded everything from a distance. The girls almost send the incriminating video to Beth, but at the last second they hesitate, knowing it would completely destroy her marriage. Instead, curiosity leads them back into Tamara's home, where they discover an email revealing that Ben is planning to return to the village. Excited by the news, Jody secretly leaves Ben her phone number, while Casey becomes increasingly jealous of her growing obsession. As emotions spiral out of control, Casey's jealousy finally explodes. After Nicholas accidentally splashes muddy water on her while speeding past in his car, she decides to take revenge by sending Beth the hidden video showing Nicholas kissing Tamara. Beth is left absolutely devastated as the heartbreaking truth unfolds before her eyes. Andy soon arrives and quietly admits that he had already suspected the affair, but remained silent because he never wanted to hurt her. Meanwhile, Tamara attempts to speak with Andy and repair their broken friendship, but Andy refuses to open his heart. Convinced that Tamara simply jumps from one relationship to another, he keeps his distance despite still loving her. Soon afterward, during one of Nicholas's public book exhibitions, Beth storms into the event and humiliates him in front of everyone. Tamara witnesses the painful confrontation from afar before walking outside, where Nicholas follows her, believing they still have a future together despite the destruction he has caused. Outside the exhibition, Nicholas desperately promises Tamara that he wants to marry her and leave his old life behind forever. But Tamara coldly shatters his fantasy, admitting that she never intended to build a future with him and that their relationship meant nothing more than temporary excitement. With those brutal words, she walks away, leaving Nicholas completely broken. At the same time, Ben finally returns to Tamara's house and discovers Jody waiting for him. As she confesses everything, Ben realizes that Jody's fake emails were responsible for ruining his relationship with Tamara. Although she admits she acted out of love, the damage has already been done. Elsewhere, Chumat Lal takes advantage of Beth's emotional vulnerability and unexpectedly kisses her, only for Nicholas to arrive at the worst possible moment. Horrified by what he sees, Nicholas begs Beth to forgive him, but she has reached her limit. Looking him straight in the eyes, she demands a divorce, leaving Nicholas to realize he has finally lost everything that once mattered. Completely consumed by anger and regret, Nicholas lashes out at Chumat Lal, blaming him for interfering in his collapsing marriage. A violent fight erupts between the two men until Chumat Lal shoves Nicholas backward. Nicholas crashes against a large rock, striking his head with terrifying force and collapsing unconscious onto the ground. Before anyone can help him, Beth's dog chases a nearby herd of cattle, sending the frightened animals stampeding directly toward the fallen writer. Chumat Lal desperately tries to pull Nicholas to safety, but panic overwhelms him and he runs away instead. Seconds later, the charging cattle trample Nicholas, ending his life in a horrifying accident. The sound of a gunshot echoes across the village as the owner of the cattle arrives and shoots Beth's dog to stop the chaos. Villagers rush toward the scene only to find Nicholas lying lifeless on the ground. Tamara falls to her knees in shock, while Beth pushes her away and breaks down in heartbreaking grief beside the body of the man she once loved. Overwhelmed with guilt, Tamara blames herself for Nicholas's tragic death, believing that if she had never allowed herself to become involved with him, none of this would have happened. Andy gently embraces her, reminding her that endless regret cannot change the past. Nearby, Chumat Lal prepares to leave the village forever, unable to carry the burden of everything he witnessed. Andy urges him to stay and finally tell Beth the complete truth about Nicholas's final moments. Chumat Lal approaches her with every intention of confessing, but before speaking he notices one of Nicholas's handwritten lines about how lies often become easier than painful truths. After a long silence, he chooses not to reveal what really happened, allowing Beth to mourn without carrying even greater pain. As time slowly heals the wounds left behind, Andy and Tamara finally confess the feelings they had hidden for years. Choosing honesty over deception, they decide to build a new future together, bringing the emotional story to a bittersweet yet hopeful conclusion.